the girl who takes an eye for an eye. This one feels like the Dragon Girl, the Dragon Tattoo, where it isn't just it's not really a major part of the overarching plot of the entire series. It feels much more like a standalone. And the story picks up with Lisbeth having to serve 2 months jail sentence for the crime she committed in the previous book for protecting August Balder, while Mikael Bloomfist is investigating a mysterious organization known as the Registry that experiments on children and definitely has its hooks in what happened to Lisbeth when she was a kid. So, again, this one feels kind of like in the hornet's nest a little bit because of there's this mysterious organization that's been manipulating certain events and everything, but this one goes even further back into the past, and it does connect a lot of dots of who these key players are that helped do this to Lisbeth and why they did it and what's going on. They're still doing it and things like that, and hurts and them basically trying to stop it. But there also is a really cool story that, despite them having to do a deal with the registry, there is this cool subplot with Lisbeth having to save this girl named Ferrari, uh, Farah. I think it's Farah. I always mess this girl's name up, even though I've heard it like 100 times. Faria Kasi. In prison, while she's in prison, of course she's in prison, and you get to see prison life and everything. The spiders are still out to get her. She's not safe in prison, so that's one enemy she has to keep constantly looking out. And then she ends up having to bump into a new enemy, this chick named Benito, who's just this chick just wilding out. She's just a wilding out beast, and everybody's afraid of her. And she's got all of these connections, so she's basically if you get targeted by her, she's coming for you in some kind of capacity. I did like that storyline. I think it was really cool. And again, it kind of goes into this whole thing of yes, they're Mikaela and her are looking into the registry, but she has this other story to deal with. And now the story does go into Faria's, get into her head. You see what she has to deal with. And again, this is one of those moments where she's an interesting character. She's a likable character. She has an interesting story about what happened between her and her family and what led her to jail and what's been happening to her while she's been in prison. So she's actually a really good character. And again, as much as I like these new characters, I still would like a bit more from the old characters as well. And they do have their moments here and there, but you don't really get to see them. And again, as I stated before, Erica Berger is one of my favorite characters. And I want to see her presence more and more in this. But we have to make room for new characters. It happened in Girl in the Spider's Web. It happened definitely in the girl who kicked the hornet's nest. Now that one introduced so many new characters. It was just crazy. But this one I think is actually pretty good. I did like Faria. I did like her story, and I did feel sorry for her. And I like just how she got caught up in all of this crazy stuff. She feels when reading this book, it feels like Lisbeth is reaching back and attempting to save herself because Faria is in a similar situation where she's just this young woman that these major forces are conspiring against her to make her life a living hell. So I really did like the story. Did like the villains in it. Honestly, the other two, Khalil and Bashir, take them or leave them. I didn't really care. I really liked Benito's character, maybe because she had more presence in the story. That I actually liked her as an antagonist. I thought she was actually pretty cool. And even with the registry, I think that was actually a really, really, really cool concept to get with and to go on because and one thing that they do establish in the stories is that her family is very exceptional in a lot of things, and each family member seems to have something exceptional about it. And I like that. I like that they're showing that people will try to use kids as like weapons and stuff like that, and try to train them and put them all this crazy stuff. So it's cool. It's cool. I like that in these books. So that I've been in this series, a lot of the angst that you see is women, hatred towards women and abuse towards women are also abuse against kids. And you get to see that in these books. I like that underlying thing. And a lot of corruption as well. Fuck ton of corruptions. But it was Girl Who Takes an Eye for an Eye is a good read. I really enjoyed it.